We'd like to welcome you to the 2019-2020 club volleyball season. My name is Bree Isaacson and I am the club director.
And my name is Bridget Hack and I'm the business manager.
And so if you've played for us before, you know this is like the highly anticipated, very exciting, informative parent meeting that you wait for each year to come out. Bridget and I have a blast doing it. It's our only shot.
Yeah, we get one this year, so bear with us.
Anything like this, because quite frankly, no one else would listen. But essentially, we set this up so that our families can listen to what our program's about if they need to, if they haven't been a part, or there are always some changes from year to year. And this way, parents can listen to it while they're driving, can listen to it while they're cooking dinner, and not have to come in for a parent meeting because we know that our families are so busy, as we are as well. And hopefully it answers any and all questions that you have so that you can make an informed decision, obviously, and you're watching this video after the tryout has already happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a rundown of information about our program, and then Bridget will talk financials and uniform and some of those things, and then and we'll just send it off to you guys so that if you have any questions, certainly then you can reach out to us and ask. So first of all, the tryouts have already happened. So now what we're looking at is, well, and I guess I'll just let Bridget, I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'll just let you talk about what you need to do next.
So save it for the end.
Okay.
Save that for the end because...
So here's the thing, all paperwork and all registrations and all uniforms and things like that need to be in pretty quickly. There's a short turnaround, for the boys season. So our season begins, we just talked about this, the week of September 23rd. So on that first day, all forms and registrations and memberships and all of that need to be current and submitted to allow an athlete to be able to participate. We know that the USAV memberships are good until October 31st, but we can't place athletes on rosters until the membership is renewed, regardless that it's still current, because it is from a previous season. So what we ask for our families is that you renew it, because then we can submit rosters and then we can be accepted to tournaments before September 23rd. All paperwork and registrations must be done as well. So USAV, any documents online, anything that needs to come in as a physical form that Bridget will talk about, but all of that needs to come in prior to the first practice. Once practices begin, we will spend several weeks training in the gym prior to selecting teams. Once we're in the gym for a couple of weeks and we've seen the athletes and maybe we've adjusted positions or we've seen them over an extended period of time, team selection happens. Those rosters will then be available on our website. Practices beginning that week. Practices are Monday and Wednesdays, and on Sundays that we don't have tournaments. We do ask that our athletes arrive 15 minutes before their practice begins. This allows them time to, change their shoes, go to the bathroom, do anything that they need to do prior to the start of practice. If they are going to be late or absent from practice, we do ask that the athlete contact the coach directly first. We do know that in those first couple of weeks, there may not be a coach assigned to your son's team. So if that's the case, you would simply reach out to Bridget or myself and we could pass that message along. Corey Sackett also runs the boys program. You could reach out to him as well and he would be able to pass the message along to the coaching staff. We do have a policy where we allow 3 excused absences. Essentially what that for is if you have finals or if there's something going on at the school or things like that. The boys don't really have an opportunity to make up the practices like the girls do, so we just simply ask that our families don't abuse the missed practice policy simply because we are a team, and if not everybody's at practice, then unfortunately we can't perform well when we go to tournament play. If something happens where your son is extremely sick for a long period of time, certainly reach out to us and we'll assist in getting him back quickly. And in practices, all athletes need to wear Club 1 practice t-shirts, athletic shorts, knee pads if they choose, socks, and volleyball shoes. We do know that for our new families, you may not have a Club 1 practice t-shirt at this point, so any athletic t-shirt will do, and then once the Club 1 practice t-shirts come in, then they would be expected to wear those. In our gym, we use a master coach philosophy, so what that essentially means is that there is one common practice plan run for every team that we have there. And the reason that we do that is, and I should specify that the individual coach of each team works directly with their team, but we use the common practice plan to ensure that everyone's getting the same training. So regardless of the years that someone has coached or the positions that they played, when they played, each of our athletes gets the same training to develop the same way. We do allow and support multiple sport athletes. So if that's the case and your son does play another sport, we do ask that you provide their practice and game schedule to the coach so that they know when your son, will and won't be there. We've never had a problem making this work. The only thing we ask is you make great effort, on your end as well to make sure that if they can come for a little bit and then leave early, or if they come at the very end of practice, even if it's not a substantial amount of time, that they still make the effort to get there so that they can, not miss too much of what's going on, especially in the early months when we're working on rotations and things like that that are very beneficial for the entire team. Tournaments. So tournament play begins in November. So basically October will just be a training month. And we play on average 2 times per month. So we play in the Payless Point Series, we play at the Chicago Qualifier, and then we do one travel trip to St. Louis for our boys program. The tournament schedule, because most of that information is out right now, that tournament schedule will come out pretty quickly to our families. We do play in sometimes a Lewis event or a sync event, if there's kind of big holes in the schedule. So not all of that information is out yet. So if there's a small delay, that's why we're just finalizing the tournament schedule. We don't want to put it out to you and then have to make a ton of changes. So once we have it, we'll send it out to you guys. And just a couple rules of thumb if you're new about the tournament schedule. You arrive 1 hour before you play a tournament and 45 minutes before you officiate. Athletes do call the lines and work the scorer's table in club, but your coach will give you specifics on when they want you to be there. Some tournaments are half days, meaning you just go, you play 3 matches and you're done. Some are what we call full day events where you play until there's a champion. So you come when it's dark and you leave when it's dark, but that's a good thing if you've stayed the whole day. All athletes must stay until all playing and officiating duties are complete. So if you lose in the semifinals and then you have to ref the finals, everyone is required to stay. And then once our officiating duty is done, everyone is free to leave. We do ask that you respect the food policies of each host site. Bridget and I have come to realize, and if you've been in club volleyball before, there is not a single event or tournament host that you will go to that allows outside food. So what my suggestion would be to you is, if you choose not to eat that food, pack a lunch, eat it in your car outside of the facility. They do reserve the right to remove you if you break that food policy rule. If your son has a specific allergy or something that prevents them from eating something that the host site provides, you can reach out to Bridget and myself. We can reach out to that host site, and then hopefully they'll give you some sort of badge that allows you to eat outside food. Some host sites are better than others, but we'll do our best to communicate. One thing that's important to know too about tournaments is that we don't always know the start times. So Bridget and I kind of talk about this. You will get your tournament schedule and it will say you are going to play, what's the date today, Bridget? August 28th. You're going to know that you play August 28th. And you're going to know that when you play in November and December and January and February. But you may not know if you're morning or afternoon, or if you start at 8 or 9, or if you ref until the week before. As soon as our coaching staff gets it, we send it out to you guys because we want you to have it so you can plan. We have 8 children between the 2 of us. We get it. You want to know. But the reason that sometimes they don't put it out early is because they do have to make changes. So if you've ever been a part of Payless Point Series, many times we have several revisions. And so in an effort not to confuse everybody, they kind of wait to send it out. So just know that once we get the information for when you play, the actual time, we'll pass that information along to you immediately. Once we kind of get into tournament play, sometimes playing time kind of comes up. Playtime is earned in practice. And certainly we give our athletes an opportunity to play, and we want that to be a part of their development, just like training and practices. But sometimes kids maybe are playing a position that they haven't played, or maybe they're only playing front row, or maybe they're only playing back row. So there's just a couple things that we ask. If your child's unhappy about the playtime, then they certainly just need to ask the coach. And if they ask the coach, 9 times out of 10 that gets solved. So they can simply ask and then just say, hey, what do I need to do? And since that coach works with your son every single day, they would certainly have the tools to be able to tell them what they need to work on. If for some reason that doesn't work and we're still having some issues, then myself and the coach and you and your son can all sit down together and we can discuss it further. We've never had a situation that we haven't been able to resolve when we've all sat down together. The only thing I want to mention to you guys is we do have a 24-hour rule at Club One. I actually don't know anybody who doesn't have one. But if there is something that happens and you're upset or your son's upset, that we ask that you wait 24 hours to discuss, because that way something positive can come from the meeting. We won't discuss playtimes, lineups, or coaching decisions at a tournament. We do ask that you respect our coaching staff. They dedicate many hours in addition to other jobs that they have, and we will give you that same respect back as well. And one other thing that I want to talk about, our top teams are teams that we call our strong teams. We do not guarantee playtime on those teams. Again, we set these teams up fairly so that people can contribute. We know that that's part of development, but it is fair just to say, because it's a little bit different sometimes when they go to tournaments. We do have a parent expectation clause, and we're just going to read it. The region has one. We feel very kind of blessed that we have really good families at Club One and we don't really have too many problems, but it does happen from time to time, and we all love our children, and sometimes in the heat of a moment, in competition, things get a little bit out of hand. So we do ask for our families to be respectful of the club coaches and players, to demonstrate good sportsmanship to Club One players, as well as all other teams, coaches, staffs, and officials. I can assure you, you're going to get a bad call somewhere down the road. We ask that you support the development of each player, and that we're just always respectful, because people are always watching. So you guys are going to go to a tournament and you're going to get a bad official, or it's going to be a bad day, and any of that stuff. But we just want the kids to be respectful. We want our coaches to do that, and we know we're going to have good days as well. So on to the travel portion. So all of our boys teams will go to the St. Louis qualifier, and the St. Louis qualifier is February 8th through the 10th. So this is earlier than what it was. It used to be President's Day weekend, then they pushed it even further to the end of February, and now they've kicked it to the beginning. So it is the weekend of February 8th through the 10th. Just so our families know, it is stay to play. And what that means is that USA Volleyball dictates where our group can stay, and we have to stay at the hotels that they select to make us confirmed in the tournament. So basically what will happen is our families will get an email from Bridget or myself. It will say, here is the room block. You will log into the room block, and you will simply reserve your room, put in your credit card. It is private per person, so no one else can see your information, and then you will get a confirmation from that. But you won't do anything until you get the letter from me. Just make sure that you pay attention to the hotel deadlines and cancellation policies, just so that you're aware, should you decide to change your mind, you want to make sure that you know when you need to cancel. So a travel letter for that will come out actually fairly quick. So you'll get that from me right away. You'll be able to book that almost immediately. If you're not planning on attending and you need some assistance for your son to get there or to stay with somebody, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to do that. Our strong teams do go to USA Nationals regardless if they qualify or not. The Chicago qualifier, which is the weekend of January 18th through the 20th, that is not stay to play because it's in the state we live in. However, some families have reached out about getting some room blocks, and we can do that. So if you don't want to drive back and forth, the issue that weekend or in that month is simply weather. It's been kind of rough the last couple of years. So we'll send that out. If you don't want to stay there and you want to come home each night, you're totally entitled to do that. But if some people want to take advantage of it, then they can. The Chicago qualifier and then the St. Louis qualifier, the Dennis Lafata, are both qualifiers for nationals. So should our teams qualify, which is always the goal, then we would attend the national tournament, which is, it spans from like June 30th to like July 9th. And this year it's in Reno. All athletes, if you qualify, would be required to go. And then our strong teams, 15, 16, 17, and 18, all go as well, regardless if they qualify or not. So, and we've had other teams go sometimes if a group's been together for a long time, but those strong teams will plan on going. And then, so they don't put out hotel information. That's also state of play. They don't put out hotel information until the last qualifier is done. So what Bridget and I will do is once our teams are selected, you'll get an email and we collect a $200 or $250 deposit. And then once we actually get the hotel information and all of that, then we can give a final balance for our families. And we'll give you time, you know, if you need to split it apart, we'll give you some time. But just so you can kind of know that that will be coming, but it won't be coming until after team selections, and a total cost for the tournament won't be laid out until we find out what hotel block we get through USA Volleyball. So we'll be sending that out fairly quick. The last couple of things that I have, unless I've missed something, and Bridget will surely tell me, is that we will have an online BSN Spiritwear store. So if you want to order some great Club One gear, that's where you will do it. Just know that the deadline is really the deadline. We always try to have 2, but parents will be like, "Oh, I just missed it." They won't let me reopen it. So if you don't get in on the first one, expect something for the second one. Corey Sackett he is our recruiting coordinator as well as our boys club director. So if your son is interested in playing in college and is either new to Club One or is a little bit older this year than they were last, you would want to reach out to him directly. He does hold an annual recruiting seminar for our families. So if your son has any interest, it's great to attend just to get a general idea and a time frame for communications with college. And then he will work directly with you one-on-one on videos and how to communicate directly with the coaches. So Corey's around for all of the boys' practices, so your son would be able to reach out that way as well. And then we have a website, we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we have a Twitter page. I don't know if we have anything else past that. That's a stretch for us as it is. So we have all those things. So follow us on social media because we love posting about our team's successes and college commitments and anything that's going on around the club. So, club1volleyball.com is our website, but I'm going to look up while Bridget starts to talk, but our Facebook page and our Instagram page are linked. Bridget, do you know it off the top of your head? So it's literally Club One Volleyball Club is our Facebook page. And then our Instagram page, because it would have been far too simple to keep it the exact same, because then we would have all just known what it was. So
it's C1 BBC.
C1,
right?
Yeah. Well, maybe.
I mean, we don't even know what it is, but
I just go to it.
Or is it Club One BBC? See,
you know what? Hold on. I know the suspense is killing. It's Club One VBC, and the VBC is all in caps. So our Facebook page and our Instagram page is the picture is the same, so you'll be able to put them together. But check us out on that stuff, and that way you can see all the wonderful things that are happening. Plus, should there be weather, should there be flooding, we've had that before, or a tornado.
Yeah, we did have that.
Anything like that, and we needed to quickly cancel practice, it would go up on Facebook, it would go up on Instagram. Bridget would send a blast out to everybody that was in Sport Engine. We'd post it on our website, but just stay in touch with all those different avenues, and then you won't miss out on any of the awesome information. So I'm going to pass this over to Bridget, and she is going to kind of talk her part, and then we will wrap it up.
Excellent. So my part is going to discuss the fees. It's going to discuss the uniform. It's going to discuss a fundraising option we have, and then what we do at the end of everything. So For our 14U program, and the fees that I'm going to give you include that St. Louis tournament that Bree discussed that they go to in February, beginning of February. Our fees for the 14U program are $1,250, and the fees for the 15 through 18U are $1,800. What we allow families to do is you can break those up into. Did you have something to say?
Well, our 14s don't travel.
Oh, I thought you said all teams.
I did, but
I'm sorry.
our
It's
14s haven't gone to St. Louis.
This is
Yeah,
why I changed
we're good. We
my
work
mind.
together. We work
We
together.
worked together, and I had the other, and then when she said all teams, I'm like, I missed that. So
They do go to the Chicago qualifier, but that's just included in the fees. So, but in terms of St. Louis, their tuition would be $950.
okay, so let me just
Check it.
check
Rewind.
it. I had it written down, and she confused me, but that's okay. This is why we love each other. This
Yeah,
is why
yeah.
we work so well.
And
Mistakes
in case
happen.
anybody's wondering, it's very easy. Bridget,
Yeah.
Bree, nobody knows. As long as you get out a BR, one of us will answer. So
And
no
we
big
do.
deal.
We answer to both.
Yeah.
So let me restart over. $950 are the fees for our 14U program, and our 15 through 18s is the $1,800. What we will allow all families to do is you can split it in up to 4 payments. So if let's just say you were to choose the 4-payment plan, a quarter would be due, 1/4 of it would be due upon registration, and all registrations will be completed. And I'll explain that, but right after right after the tryouts. And then the next payments would be on October 1st, November 1st, and December 1st. When you split the payments, we will be incurring a $20 installment fee on the second, third, and fourth installment. There is not a $20 fee for that initial registration. So you can choose to do a 1 payment in full. You could do 2 payments. If you do the 2 payments, it splits it in half, and you pay half, and then you pay the other half. If you do 3 payments, it's a third, a third, a third, and if you do 4, it's a 25%, all, etc. So you would make your selection. When I go through the step-by-step at the end quickly, I can explain to you how we do that, but you will choose your payment plan. Uniform is a separate cost as indicated on our paperwork, and that will be ordered directly through their site. So we don't collect any money for the uniforms. This year we will have some new and exciting things happening, and we're really excited. This year they've changed some of the stuff, and no longer in our warm-ups is it the pants with the zip up. They are now offering fleece sweatpants and fleece hoodies, and the boys are usually excited about these kinds of things because they get them, like in the high school and stuff first. But everyone is required to order the initial uniform package, which will include 2 jerseys, your shorts, the fleece sweatpants and the fleece hoodie, a backpack, and 3 practice t-shirts. That is required for everybody mandatorily. The cost for that is going to be $252, and that includes the shipping. There will be tax added on at the end, which we don't have that exact cost, but that would be added. But that $252 includes the shipping, and it's going to be bagged and come directly to you at your house, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and let me just say one thing so that everybody knows. So we work with Nike, and we have a great contract with Nike, and we think we get these things at a great price for our families. And we try to reuse. So the last several years, we have reused items in our package, even though Nike has slightly tweaked the warm-up top or the backpack. We've just allowed our families because we realize that additional expenses add up. However, at some point they stopped making that particular item altogether, and we're in that year. So they do guarantee a 2-year cycle of everything. So we would at least be able to reorder these things next year. So for our families, if your son did now grow some of the stuff and they can reuse them, we encourage you to do that. And ours from the previous years have actually lasted longer than that. Like, we've gone on several years of being able to use it, but they only guarantee 2. So just so our families know, we're kind of in a recycle year. And also, one thing, and I'm sure Bridget was going to talk on this next, and she has a little bit more on uniform to say, but There's a quick turnaround with it too, so just be prepared that you're going to start getting a ton of emails from Bridget and from myself, and if you haven't already, every Friday. And you're going to get, you need to do this and this, but the uniform package has to be ordered almost a week after because they have to ensure we have it in time for our first tournament. And then what happens is Nike's inventory goes down. So we don't want to be in a situation where we waited too long to order and now we can't get enough of the same jersey or whatever the case is. So just so our families expect, it's going to come around quick. But that uniform stuff, and it's paid directly through BSN/Nike, but it will come quick and you'll have to kind of be on top of it just to ensure everybody gets everything in time.
And we'll make sure we send reminders. I mean, we'll give you a deadline, and then there's usually like you have 2 days to order your pay. So we try to keep you, because we know the beginning is quite a bit of information that you're getting in a short amount of time.
Sure.
Another portion, if you are a new player of the package, includes our shoes, socks, and knee pads, which is an additional $98. So if you are new, you have to get that bundle of the uniform package. If you're a returner, and if your son needs any 3 of those items, you will be able to order those separately, okay? So the first grouping of stuff everybody needs, and then the shoes, socks, and knee pads are required for new families and are optional to any of our returning families. So with that said, like Bree said, we will have samples for you to try on. You'll get the information. Sometimes I don't on that particular night have the store code, but when I do, I'll email you the link to go to, what code you need to get in, and then you can go on to proceed to order your uniform package. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is the fundraiser that we offer, and this has been going on for as long as we've been doing this, and it's an awesome way for families to offset their costs. And the way that our fundraiser works is that each family will receive 10 tickets that are $10 a piece that are mandatory to sell. When you sell those tickets, it is for a cash prize. Easy sell. Top prize has typically been $10,000, and if you can sell them, to family members and things like that, they could have the ability to win $10,000. If you sell over the 10 tickets, everything you sell will be 100% given back to you. So, for example, I sell 50 tickets. The first 100 is part of the mandatory, and then $400 would go back to me in the form of a check at the end of the raffle. Now, a couple of things. Boys season, the boys and our girls are all part of the raffle. The raffle is typically drawn right before the holidays, right before Christmas. So you cannot use your raffle sales to offset your tuition costs. What happens is the raffle ends, we have to file paperwork, we have to get with the IRS, do the things we need to do, and then I would cut you a check that would be mailed to your home for the overage that you sold. If you are busy like us and have 8 kids doing fundraisers like us, you can opt out of the fundraiser if you choose not to sell tickets. And to opt out is a $75 fee. You pay the one-time fee and you don't get tickets to sell. When you go through the registration process, you will get to choose whether or not you want to participate or opt out. If you choose to opt out, it would be added onto your fees when you check out in the registration process. So a lot of people have been very, very successful with it. They have been able to make some of that money back, if not a good portion of it. So that would be a choice that you would have as a family if you wanted to sell tickets. Which brings me to the end of the things that I talk about.
See, and it's only been 28 minutes. I don't know why everyone says it's so long. Like, oh, it's so long.
Well, you've been known to have it go 40. So this is a record. But
I wrapped it up.
You wrapped it up. But the last thing that I want to explain is how this works. So you have already seen your son's number posted on the website, and you've gone to what we have on there as our step-by-step. The first step is watching this video. So it's hopefully giving you all the information that you need. You'll go through the second step, which is probably one of the most important
Yeah.
steps is you will need to email me, and the information is on the website, your commitment, your son's commitment to the program. We do have a noon deadline on Wednesday, September 4th. And the reason we do that is if we do have people on our wait list, and if you choose to not take your spot or accept your spot at Club 1, we want to make sure we can reach out to other families and give that opportunity to somebody else who may want to take that. And again, if you decide, it's just a very quick, I'm accepting my spot, or thank you, but we are not, and then that way. If you don't email by noon, we are going to go onto our list and start offering the position to somebody else. So please, 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 if before everything, the minute you know you're going to commit, please send that email. The third step will then be registering in Sport Engine. You all did it when you registered for the tryout. One thing I want to mention, this is a different link. Every link is different for each registration. So a lot of people are like, I already registered, or I can't get. Please make sure you click on this link. It'll take you through everything that you need to get registered, not for the tryout, but now for the actual season.
Sure.
And registration is super important because, like Bree said, in the beginning, we're sending out a lot of information. So if you're not in the system, you may not get the deadline for the uniform and all the other things that kind of go along with it. So please make sure that you get registered. There will also be some other steps in there. There will be some forms that I'll provide the links. We need to get a USAV medical form, which needs to be printed. There are sometimes a form, our financial agreement. While it's in the system, we do also ask you to print and bring in the hard copy. It gets attached to your son's file. Providing a copy of a birth certificate for travel events, those kinds of things. So if you go through all the steps, you'll be just fine. We then will be having a parent drop-off, of this paperwork on Wednesday, September 4th, anytime within the hours of 5:30 and 7 p.m. Anytime you can stop in, you'll check in with myself, and I always have someone's helping me. We'll collect the correct paperwork. I can answer any questions that you have, and we'll also have uniform samples. So your sons are welcome to come in so that they can try on, the shorts and the things that we're providing, so that you can have a good idea of the sizes that you need to order for them when you get the link to order the uniform package. Again, it's a very, very, if you have your paperwork filled out and if you have everything, it's a very, very quick process.
And that's what we want it to be. We want you to be able to just drop it, get it in, and run to the next thing that you have to go to. However, if you do have questions, that would be, we're there to be able to assist with that.
Absolutely.
So, and we will also offer, the boys aren't in season right now like it is sometimes for the girls, but we'll offer one more uniform sizing date than Tuesday. So if you're like, oh no, my son has to work on Tuesday, I'm going to drop the paper off, we'll have one more, but we won't be able to have too much past that just because of the quick turnaround. Yep. And then Nike actually requires us to send the samples back. So just so you have a heads up, as long as we can get that stuff in, we'll offer one more uniform sizing date, and then we should be good.
Yep, and the step-by-step is very, very self-explanatory. So once you get to that point, I will actually make sure to respond to every person too who does send in their commitment, so that you know that I've gotten it, just so there's no confusion, or if you're not hearing back from me, like, hey, just want to make sure you got this, because sometimes people do get a little bit nervous about that deadline, but I will respond to everybody so that you know that it's been received. And we're looking for we're excited for another season. Yeah, it seems crazy that we're already here, but
it's September if you're watching this video.
But we are ready to go. So we welcome you all to Club 1, and we look forward to seeing and getting started with the boys.
Yeah, it'll be a great season.
Thanks so much.